Aaliyah every day, and Aaliyah just been in my ear. It gives me a lot of confidence, and also Coach Staley. It's not a day Coach Staley's not in my ear, and she also helped me with my confidence.
Yeah, after the game, I told Raven, I said, this is your team. You've been in the system for 2 years now. Next year coming up, people are going to look to you for that leadership role. So, just allowing her to, giving her that guidance of how to do it. I think this year she's been really listening to us, and you can see that during the games. And for her big games, I think Raven's just always ready. She does a great job of trying to pass the ball, making other people open, making them feel included. But tonight, I think she stepped up. She hit some really big threes for us, did a great job running the point position when Coach had her in. And so I just think she just steps up. That's just who she is. And next year is going to be really exciting when she's in that full role and she's really leading the team.
We have another question to our right, ladies.
Jen Hadfield with the Next. For both of you, that moment the buzzer goes off, what's going through your head? And then Aaliyah, I think I saw from where I was sitting, you kind of consoling Zaya or talking to her post-game, if you are comfortable sharing kind of what you told her or what that moment was like for you as well.
Yeah, you want to go first or me? When that buzzer went off, it was kind of just like an end of an era, it feels like. We had a special group, and so that's kind of just what it felt like. And, Zaya competed for 40 minutes. I mean, she played every single minute of this game. She gave it her all, and I just told her, nothing, you can't hang your head low because you did really good. You kept us in this game. Went out with foul trouble. Zai just kept attacking. She hit big shots. And, she worked really hard. 4 years went by really fast, but I told her no matter what she does next, she's ready for it. God has equipped her, and she's ready.
We're going to take a question from our virtual. David, you are permitted now to talk.
David Melandro of Sports Talk Philadelphia. This is for Aaliyah. This game tonight marked the last two players of the year. Do you think you guys gained more fans?
I hope I gained some fans. But, I definitely think so. I think this game just grew women's basketball. I bet a lot of people were watching. There were a lot of people in the crowds. You could hear Iowa fans and our fans. Everybody was just super excited for this game. I think it was a great game. So, but, I hope so.
And to our front and the right.
Alan Cole, GamecockScoop.com. For either of you, now that it's over, now that you have the whole kind of season behind you, what are you going to remember most about this year and playing with this particular team with the whole thing kind of in the rearview mirror?
I'm going to remember a fun year. I think we had so many great experiences. Just winning, how many games was that? 36 games. I feel like that's unbelievable. Coach told us in the locker room, she was like, this is rare. Teams can't say they did that. And even though this didn't end the way we wanted it to, those 36 games prior to this was really good.
Staying to our right.
Maria McElwain, Philadelphia Inquirer. This is for both of you guys. How has Coach Staley and her background and her philosophies, how has that shaped you guys as players and as people? And how will you take that forward?
Yeah, well, in my eyes, I don't want to make a mistake when Coach Staley's coaching, so I always look at her. I'm like, oh Lord. So it's like she scares me, honestly, because I want to be so perfect to her. But honestly, Coach, you can't be perfect. Coach, she always say that just be yourself, and it's things that she asks me in practice, and I be like, I don't know, and I actually be thinking to myself like, why would she ask me that, stuff like that. So honestly, I'm glad that I'm playing under her because I'm definitely going to develop really well under her.
Playing under Coach Staley, she's just helped me with my confidence a lot, She's just always been like that second mom, no matter what. You guys are lucky here. You get to see me cry. I was planning not to cry.
No pictures, please.
Yeah, because they like to run wild with those. I better not see one. But honestly, she's just been a second mom. And on the court, she just motivates you, She always pushes you to be the best person that you can be. You don't have to be perfect, even though Raven, you don't have to be perfect. She knows that you make mistakes, but I think she's just she just helps you every step of the way. She asks you questions if you don't know. She goes into more detail. She wants to see you succeed. So yeah. Seriously, no pictures.
To our right, Michelle, go ahead. Michelle Smith from the Next. Aaliyah, to come into this game unbeaten, do you think that added any pressure or anything extra in the fact that you guys hadn't lost a game this season and had a 42-game winning streak? Does that just add anything when you come into this atmosphere?
I mean, I think the only pressure is just, you want to go to a national championship game. You want to compete for that. I mean, we were undefeated, but that we kind of had to push that to the back burner because, just like you said, we're in the season where you don't want to lose, And so we weren't really focused on, our streak or how long we've been undefeated. It was really just about, we want to compete to go to the next step. Oh, thanks so much.
Take a question to our left.
Jerry Longman, the New York Times. Aaliyah, you guys did many of the things you always do. You dominated the bench, the offensive rebounding. Where did you see the difference was?
Where did I see the difference? I think just some of our shots didn't fall tonight. I feel like sometimes we were able to put them on the free throw line, and that really wasn't going both ways. But, I mean, our shots just didn't really fall.
We have another virtual question. We'll go to Gabrielle Lewis. Gabrielle, your line is open, and now you are permitted to talk.
Gabrielle Lewis, the Next. Just reflecting on the season, what is the biggest thing that each of y'all learned this season?
You want to go first?
Yeah, leadership role, definitely from the freshie class. The leadership role, like I said, they always show me what pro habits were, and they just show me every day what it's like to be a pro. And the way they just talk to us younger players and motivated us, I really cherish that. So I'm definitely going to take pride in that.
And for me, definitely turning the page a lot quicker. Don't hang my head too low on something specific. Just turn the page and get to the next thing.
Looks like we have one final question virtually. We'll go back to David. David, I'm going to unmute your line again, and please proceed.
Can both of you guys talk about what it was like to be coached by Dawn Staley?
Can we start with Raven?
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to be, like, in her eyes, I wanted to be perfect. Like, I never wanted to make a mistake, but I'm learning her more and more. Like, she's learning me more and more. Like I said, she was asking me questions, and I always thought, like, why did she ask me this? But, I want to be like her one day. I look up to her, honestly, little does she know. So I'm definitely going to, talk to Coach and watch film definitely on this game so I can learn. And like I said, we're going to be back.
I've just learned to turn the page, compete for 40 minutes, and just continue to be a great teammate. Coach, do you think I became a better passer this year? All right. That was my goal.
Kyrie, that was good.
Thank you so much, ladies. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good job, y'all.
At this time, we'll open up for questions for Coach Staley.
So we just, Maggie Hendricks, Bally Sports, sorry. We just heard Aaliyah talk so much about her teammates through this entire thing. What does that say about not just the person she is on the court, but off it too?
I mean, she's a complete person. Like, she's a great human being. And you could tell that she's got great parenting and a great foundation that she shares herself. Like, she's a sacrificer. She's a great friend. She's a great teammate. She is somebody that you want to build your program around because you know it's safe. And she's always going to make the right decision for our team, even if it is a detriment to her personally.
Coach, to our left. To our right. Nancy, go ahead.
Dawn, Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. If Aaliyah does ask you for your opinion about what she should do next year, what will you tell her? And if this was her last game in South Carolina, can you describe what she has meant to your program?
I'd tell her to go. I mean, there are defenses that are played against her that won't allow her to play her game. And then it's hard to officiate that. So I would tell her to go. She's great. I mean, she's ready. She's ready to see single coverage. She's ready to make the next step to the league. I mean, she's meant everything to our program. She has been the cornerstone of our program for the past 4 years. She elevated us. she raised the standard of how to approach basketball. She's never had a bad day. She's never come into practice sulking. She's always just the person that you saw. So very, very consistent. And I slept very well knowing she was with our program. And I'll sleep well knowing that she's okay and she will definitely make her mark at the next level.
We're going to stay to our right in the front row, please.
Michael Robertson, hoopfeed.com, and the African American athlete. So, Coach, we talked earlier when you guys played Stanford, and Aaliyah was dealing with foul trouble, and I asked, did you have to say anything to her? So, in this case, with 0 points at halftime, did you have to say anything to her to get her going?
No, I mean she knows how to handle foul trouble. She knows what needs to get done. But again, it's just hard to, it's hard for her to move. I think it's hard to officiate the way the game was played. It's just hard to officiate. And when she's 2 for 9, 2 fouls, 2 fouls in the first couple of minutes of the first quarter, it's just hard. I mean, she's a big part of what we do.
We're going to go to our left, Coach.
Left.
Coach, AJ Jones, BS3 TV, KYLK Radio out of Houston. A lot of times other coaches, your colleagues, have sat in that spot and talked about you all being bullies. What's the truth about your team?
The truth about our team, okay? It's a good question, okay? We're not bar fighters. We're not thugs. We're not monkeys. We're not street fighters. This team exemplifies how you need to approach basketball on the court and off the court. And I do think that that's sometimes brought into the game, and it hurts. Okay. And I do think that some of I'm gonna say it because I said I was gonna say it, whether we lost or whether we won. Some of the people in the media, when you're gathering in public, you're saying things about our team, and you're being heard, and it's being brought back to me. Okay? And these are the people that write nationally for our sport. So you can not like our team, okay? You can not like me, but when you say things that you probably should be saying in your home, on the phone, or texting out in public, and you're being heard, and you are a national writer for our sport, it just confirms what we already know. So watch what you say when you're in public and you're talking about my team in particular. Just watch what you say about our team, because it's wrong. You got young lives who are really, if you really knew them, like you really want to know other players that represent this game, you would think differently. So don't judge us by the color of our skin, okay? Judge us by how we approach the game. And you may not like how we play the game, may not like it. That's the way we play. That's the way I coach. I'm not changing. We found success in it, and maybe some days, like today, we end up on the losing side of the stick. But guess what? We live to see another day. We live to see the comeback next year and try to do this again. Because I'm not changing. I'm not changing, but I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Because I do have friends in the media, whether you believe it or not. I do have some friends in the media. So for those of you who were at whatever event you were at that was nearby this arena yesterday, you were heard. You were overheard talking about our team. So,
Coach, we're going to take a a question from the right-hand side. Howard, go ahead.
Hey, Dawn. Howard Megdal at the Next. To talk about Raven a little bit and just, I know when we talked after UConn, it was a time where she stepped forward. I wonder whether you think her ability to do that then helped her prepare for what she did tonight, and just generally speaking, how you see her as a potential leader for this team going forward.
Raven's our future. I mean, Raven has a bright future. She's got some great instincts as a point guard. And she just mentioned, I ask her sometimes why. Why did you do that? And I ask why because I like to know her process. I like to know what she's thinking, and it helps me teach her a little bit better. She doesn't know, sometimes she doesn't know why, because she's got really, really, really good instincts. So when she's able to keep those instincts the way they are, but also just be a little bit more patient about seeing other options, she's gonna be a terrific point guard. So she's a pro in the making, and I'm super proud that she's on our team and she's gonna represent our team and our university.
That back right-hand corner, Coach.
Thank you very much. Dawn, you talked the other day a lot about your faith. So in this moment, I want to ask, what is it that you would say to the kids back in South Carolina about, I've heard you say many times, what God has for you is for you, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to them about overcoming disappointments like this to use that setback as a setup for what's ahead in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't give honor to God when we win. Obviously, we want to win all the games. He's the reason for all seasons. It's not harvest time yet. It's not harvest time. So I take the good with the bad. Like I'm a sore loser, but I'm a gracious loser. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Iowa had a terrific game plan, and we didn't get it done. There were opportunities. There were 3 turnovers we had in a row that were somewhat of a game changer for us, that if we had them back, we could probably open up a lead that would have put us over the top, but wasn't in the cards. It was, we did that to other teams and we ended up winning. So we got to take it, we got to take the good with the bad. I'm never going to turn my back on the game of basketball. It's just giving too much to me. I'm still favored. Still favored.
Coach, we're going to take a question on the backhand side. Lindsay, go ahead.
Dawn, Lindsay Chanel, USA Today. Can you talk a little bit about Caitlin? Obviously you watched a ton of film of her to prep for this game. Was she better than you anticipated in person?
No, she was on point. I mean, she was everything that we saw on film. She was everything, like assists, points, turnovers, all of them. I mean, I think she ran the gamut of who she is as a player, and she threaded the needle. I mean, I thought I thought she had a great connection with her, and if we could have probably not allow her to, Sonano have a little less opportunities, it could have flipped the other way. I think she was the one that put him over the top with her contributions, because we had everybody else in check.
We're going to go to our right with Michelle. Go ahead.
Dawn, Michelle Smith. A lot of people tonight that I know told me they were watching this game who don't watch women's basketball a lot. You guys didn't come out on the end that you wanted, but what do you hope you guys showed the country and people who maybe were watching women's basketball who don't watch it a lot tonight?
I hope they saw, some individual performances that will bring them back. I hope they saw, the grittiness of a team that was undefeated, and I hope they want to learn a lot more about not just us. I mean, LSU and what Kim Mulkey has done this season and getting to a national championship game. I mean, there was a lot. Virginia Tech and Kenny Brooks and his first time being in the Final Four, and then just the entire tournament. We didn't have all number 1 seeds here, and I hope they ask why, and then they'll find out that we had some incredible exciting games that led to not everyone number one seed being here.
Coach, we're going to take a call. Excuse me. We're going to take a question from the virtual. David, your line's unmuted and you are permitted to talk.
David Melandra of Sports Talk Philadelphia. Coach, how do you think your players handled the pressure of going undefeated all the way up to tonight, and then the performance you guys showed to everybody tonight?
Yeah, I don't think we felt pressure, to win the game. I thought we approached it. It felt like any other game. We just didn't perform. We didn't make more plays than we needed to make, especially down the stretch. And that hasn't been us all season long. But I never, I don't think our players felt pressure, any other pressure besides wanting to win another basketball game.
We'll take a question on our back right.
Emily Adams at the Greenville News. To have a group of players who have experienced losing so rarely, does it change kind of how you have to coach them through a loss compared to maybe some of those earlier teams you had in your tenure at South Carolina?
Well, I mean, this is kind of unique because 7 of them have two of the 7, the decision's made for them. 5 out of 7 of our seniors and, graduate assistants, they have a decision to make. So it's less about this loss and more about, what's next and making a decision on what's next for them. But the returners, I mean, they got to get us back here. This is fun. To come to the Final Four as a participant is fun. It's fun. I don't like coming other than coming as a participant. And I didn't really have to think about that for 3 years. So let's hope we can get back and, hope the Laws felt it deeply and they'll work hard to get back here.
We have a question in our far back on the left-hand side, Coach.
Maya Peterson, W-Slam. So, Coach, I was here when you were last here in Dallas. I wanted to know first, does it feel different when you walked in to see how much women's basketball has changed? And in that time, you've been able to redefine culture for women's basketball and for your team. How do you keep them motivated for the upcoming year?
I mean, to win a national championship is always an incredible goal. And it's cool just trying to get a team, a new team, and what makes that team unique about working hard and getting back to this place. And so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, we're not going to have the same team. We're going to have a different team that have different characteristics, that have different players. They're going to be put in positions that will fill a void that's going to be left by some of our seniors. So I'm looking forward to that challenge.
Coach, we have a question on your right.
Hi, Maria McElwain, Philadelphia Inquirer. So you mentioned earlier your philosophy in coaching and leading women. How much of that is informed by growing up in North Philly, playing in the Developmental Basketball League and in the Pub League?
I mean, it's my foundation. I grew up in the projects in North Philly, and I mean, you pretty much had to fight for everything, every single thing, and I don't really take anything for granted. I don't really like handouts, so everything that we do, we have to work for, and that is the mentality that I try to instill in our players, and to be disciplined in that. And I had a mother who was a disciplinarian, so I don't know any other way besides just doing things the right way and doing things the way she wanted things done. And I'm probably a little more lenient than my mom with our players because I want to meet them where they are and help them go where their hearts desire to go.
And Coach, we're going to take our last question on your left-hand side, please.
Phil Kornblut, Sports Talk Media Network in South Carolina. Just a question about the defensive strategy on Caitlin. What was it that you guys were trying to do? And in the game, did you ever consider anything like maybe double teaming her to get the ball out of her hands or anything just to change things up with her?
Yeah, I mean, she was just so well equipped with passing the basketball. I thought we had a couple of miscommunications, and then when you play a player like Caitlin, you just kind of lose your spacing out there, and you lose who's good where. Like Sanano, you know, anytime she was at the high post, we didn't want to play her at the high post. We wanted to clog the middle up a little bit and beat her to the spot of rolling deep on us. We found ourselves a little high on that at times. At the end of the game, we were going to trap the ball screen, but they didn't come off a ball screen. So, I mean, we put a lot of different people on her. I thought we tried to tire her out a little bit for 4 quarters by having our point guards pressure her. And I thought she tired out just a little bit, but not enough to, you know, give us an edge.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you all.
The Iowa locker room will be open until 11:46. Coach and players will be coming to the dais shortly. Welcome to the Division I National Semifinal Game 2 post-game press conference featuring the Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll hear an opening statement from Coach and follow up with questions from the student athletes. The student athletes will then be dismissed and we will open up with questions for Coach. Please make sure your cell phones are on silent. Coach, when you are ready, we would love to hear your opening statement.
First thing, I just want to, South Carolina, unbelievable basketball team, and I'm so proud of my women because I think they're the only people that really believed. I don't think anybody else, except for unless you were in black and gold, believed that we were going to win that game. So the women in that circle, they believed, and we prepared all week as if we were going to win this game. Before I turn it over to the women, I just want to put my condolences to everybody in Iowa City, Solon. We had some really bad tornadoes go through there this afternoon. A lot of damage. I don't know if anybody's hurt, but certainly, we're thinking about everybody back home.
We will now open up for questions for the student athletes. As a reminder, please raise your hand high so that we're able to see you. We're actually going to start with Nancy in the back on your left-hand side.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Caitlin and Monica, what was it like to be part of this game and know how much attention it was, and did it live up to your own expectations? And then Monica, Dawn said that she thought you were actually the difference maker, that by Caitlin being able to get you down inside, how much did you guys come into the game knowing that that was going to be a factor?
Yeah, I thought it was a tremendous game for women's basketball. The crowd was incredible, and shout out to all the Hawk fans that have traveled down to Dallas. They were so amazing and so loud and so fun. I don't think we would be at this point in our season if it wasn't for them. I truly mean that, and I know so many tuned in. I think just tonight showed how fun women's basketball is. Two really great teams that went at it. I'm sure so many people wish this was a series of 7 games. That would be really, really fun. And I think, if we continued the series, it might go one way or the other every single time. But obviously we get, out-rebounded by quite a bit, but we didn't hang our heads. That's all you could do is, we gave up some awards. We fouled when we didn't need to, but, we just came together and said, next play mentality, and that's all you can do, really.
Yeah, I think that's a tremendous compliment coming from Coach Staley. But I think all the credit goes to my teammates. I mean, they find me in positions that I am the most effective. And they do it game in and game out all the time. The confidence that they have in me is quite unreal, truly. So I'm just so proud to be on this team. Yeah.
We have a question on our left-hand side, the third row.
Hey, Molly Kahlin with Adweek. So, Caitlin, you've talked a lot about trust in the past. How did that come into play tonight?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing is, knowing how much my teammates trust me. I was given the ball and, kind of the biggest moments of the game on the biggest stage. But also at the same time, my teammates really came through and played huge minutes. I thought Addie and Hannah Stolke were tremendous off the bench. That's a hard position to be in, to be able to sit there and, come in when Mom gets fouls. Hannah leaks out for an easy 2. Addie comes in and gets 2 buckets for us. So, and then McKenna plays through, getting knocked in the head pretty well and then gets the biggest O board of the game. I understand South Carolina got 25 O boards, but there was one O board that really mattered the most, and it was McKenna Warnock's. And, that kind of sealed the deal for us, and we were able to make free throws. So, I think it's, I might score the most points, but at the end of the day, we aren't anywhere without my teammates, and I truly mean that. Gabby Marshall doesn't score tonight, but her defense was outstanding. Zaya Cook is a tremendous, tremendous player, and I thought she was all over her, never got discouraged. She comes away with 3 steals. So, I think everybody just, did their role. And that's what our team's about is, knowing your role, doing your role, and showing up in that every single day.
We have a question to our right in the second row.
Chloe Peterson, Daily Iowan. For McKenna, what was going through your head when you got that offensive rebound with less than 30 seconds left?
Just get it to Caitlin, honestly. But, obviously we always want to get those O boards, and I'm glad that I could come up with that one. It kind of fell into my lap, and that's kind of what we wanted in those moments anyways. We wanted some of those to kind of bounce our way tonight, and I'm glad it did at that moment. And then I'm glad that Caitlin knocked those free throws down. So
we're staying to our right in the front row.
Susan Harmon, hawkfanatic.com. For Monica, how were you able to get free from all their size and their mobility?
Yeah, I think it was really coming out of the paint. I couldn't really do what I normally did and just post up down there. I really had to come out and set ball screens and try to really expose the screen and roll, and I think that worked out pretty well for us.
We're moving to our left-hand side, the front row.
Jacob Phillips, Daily Gamecock. Caitlin, when the buzzer went off, you threw the ball up in the air and just started celebrating. Just what was going through your mind during that, knowing you're going to go play for a national championship?
I think just, I'm really, really thankful to be in this position more than anything. And like Coach Bluter said, probably everybody in America picked South Carolina, deservedly so. They've been ranked #1 all year. They've won 42 straight basketball games, Why wouldn't you pick them? But at the same time, the people in our locker room believed in us, and that's all you need is a belief in one another, a confidence in one another, and we just do it for the person to our left and our right. We might not be, we're clearly not as tall as them, we're clearly not as athletic as them, but I think we're a very, very skilled basketball team, that loves one another, and that's going to get you really, really far.
We're staying on our left-hand side, this first seat.
Yeah, Jeff Linder, Cedar Rapids Gazette. For any of the players, how in the world do you get grounded again, get ready to play on Sunday?
I think it's just, celebrate it for right now, and then we're going to go back and watch some film. It's just a business mentality at this point, and I think we've done a really good job of doing that in the past. Big Ten tournament prepares you for this, and I think that's kind of how we look at it. So,
Staying on our left, go ahead.
Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. Caitlin, you've faced just about every kind of defense possible when teams try to stop you. What was special about this South Carolina defense, and how were you able to get the better of it?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I have seen a lot of really good defenses. I think the thing was we saw some weaknesses early in the game, and that's what we just kept going to. And I think that gives a lot of credit to Coach Bluter because she kept putting us in the same action that was working. And, they were guarding Mon pretty high up, so that was allowing me to get to the rim. I thought we were dragging their rim protectors away from the rim where they're used to being. But honestly, a lot of screening action. I thought we set up a lot of away screens, a lot of down screens, a lot of ball screens. And that's something we saw in film that we thought could work, and I thought, we executed that well. But yeah, I mean, they still made it tough on me. They were all over my shorts. I mean, they created 8 turnovers. A few of them were probably forced by myself, and I have the ball in my hands a lot. So, they're really, really tremendous. But at the same time, I find confidence in the fact that, I feel like this team has seen just about every defense you can face. So I'm never intimidated going into a game. I don't feel like these girls are ever intimidated. We know we need to be crisp. We need to be clean. And I still don't even think we shot the ball to the best of our ability tonight either. I'm 5 for 17. That's not too hot. Probably could have made a few more. And then I thought they did a really good job on Gabby Marshall. She only gets 1 shot. I probably could have got her another shot, but, I thought they were, all over her. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just the confidence we find in each other.
We're going to go to the front row and our right-hand side.
Chad Leistico, Des Moines Register. Caitlin, I know you're a hoops junkie. What did you make of the game plan that you guys had? And did you have some input in it as the week went on to how to stop them, and then also your offense as it pertained to your offense?
Yeah, I didn't have any input. Sometimes I give input and they still don't want it. But our coaches, they've been in this game a really long time. I thought they've had a tremendous game plan, and obviously they've been working on this scout for quite some time. It's probably very obvious that South Carolina was going to get to this point, and I loved our game plan. Pack the paint. At times I wasn't really even 2 feet out of the paint. And we were going to live with them making threes. I thought Johnson came through and made some tough threes and situations where they really needed it, but we never got discouraged or anything like that. So, I loved our game plan. We really packed the paint, made them earn it around the rim, and obviously, they got some O boards, but at the same time, nobody said we were going to out-rebound them. That would have been, a lie. But, I thought all we did was just come back down every single time and, buy into our defense. And Coach Bluter switched it up quite a bit, too, and I thought that gave them problems. She's always a coach. We're never going to stay in one defense too long. You got to keep switching it up.
We're going to stay on our far right.
Mitch Vick, KGN, all three. Kate took me to task a little bit ago. I asked her what it took and how you'd survive the waves that were going to come after a first quarter you couldn't ask anything more from. She said, I think we thrived, actually. You guys agree with that you kind of set the tone and kept it the whole game?
Due to time, we'll have one person answer. If I can have McKenna do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously coming out and getting that lead right away was really awesome. I mean, I don't think that they've been down much this season, and that was a great thing for us. And I think we do a great job when we come out starting hot, and we definitely did this game. And I'm just really proud of our ability to kind of withstand all their runs at the times and keep and maintain that lead the entire game. So,
far left, Lindsay, please go ahead.
Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. So, Caitlin, before this game, would you have compared Monica to Draymond Green? Because during the game, I was getting quite a few texts from basketball people who were saying, she's the difference maker. And Monica, I wondered if you watched some Draymond Green footage to get you in this mood.
To be honest, no, I would never compare Monica to Draymond. But the person on our team who I would is Kate Martin. She's the player that does all the dirty work, sets people up, sets her teammate up, is an emotional leader. So they might have gotten Kate and Mon confused. But Monica probably not so much. We could probably find some different player comps for her. But no, I think, Mon said she made some tough baskets tonight. She had a finish there at the end of the third quarter that was, about as good a finish as I've ever seen by a post player. She has 6'7" guarding her, and she makes a huge basket that, gives us another 2 points when, it comes down to it at the end. We needed that.
We're going to go to our right-hand side. Howard, please go ahead.
Howard Magdal at the Nets. Monica, for you, it was a decision to come back. And I'm just wondering if you've reflected on that decision tonight. And Caitlin, I'm wondering, it seemed you ran into the crowd to go hug someone. You talk about that moment and who you hugged and what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, the decision to come back was the easiest decision I've ever had to make, quite honestly. I would have been a fool to leave this program and leave this family. I would have done it. I obviously knew we had something to prove, but I would have done it no matter what, whether we would have come back with no expectations at all. We truly are such a family, and I know you hear it a lot, and it gets kind of old, but this is something I'll never forget, being with this group of people, getting to do what we love to do every single day and working together through adversity every single day. So, yeah, no regret on my end.
We're gonna take a virtual call. We'll go with. Oh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead, Caitlin. I apologize.
Just my family in the stands. That's who I was hugging. You know, obviously they've been like my biggest supporters all throughout my career, and that's one of the reasons I came to Iowa is because, you know, they wanted to be at all my games. You know, travel around and support. My dad comes to a lot of my stuff, and just to be able to share the moment with them, and you know, it's pretty special to all of us to have our families here and be along this ride with them. And you know, people that have sacrificed a lot for us.
At this time, we'll take a virtual call. Sean, please proceed. Your line is unmuted.
Hi, Sean Schultz, WNBA Swish. The question's for Caitlin. With the game tonight widely being talked about as maybe one of the most watched women's basketball games in history, how does it feel to be a part of something like that?
Man, it's incredible. But I think people tune in because they love watching the Iowa Hawkeyes. I truly believe that. You know, I understand I'm an exciting player and people love to watch my game, but we play the right style of basketball. We're a skilled team. You know, we shoot the ball well. But I think it's the joy and the love we have for one another. We smile, we support each other, we high five. You know, it's incredible and it's special. And I think, you know, if you want to really see a team, you look at Coach Bluter and what she's built here at the University of Iowa. They're teams. And that carries you a really long way.
We're going to go to our far left side in the corner.
Skylar Dixon with the AP. Caitlin, you get the national stage again Sunday when the odds said maybe that might not happen, and you also are chasing the ultimate prize. How do you look at that right now?
Yeah, I think, you know, we have to be able to enjoy this for a moment, but also, you know, reset our minds. We didn't come this far just to play in the national championship game. You know, we're here to win it. We're here to hoist the trophy. We're here to cut down another championship net. So, you know, we need to take care of our bodies. We need to take care of our minds. But, you know, I think we have one of the best coaching staffs that is going to have us really, really prepared for that game. You know, and LSU is a very, very talented team. But I think we're going to have a lot of different things that we can throw at them. We're going to change things up, and you know, we just have to have the belief that we can win. We don't have to change anything that we've done. You know, is dial in on player personnel, and you know, be who we are and be who we've been all year long.
Take a question to our right.
Hi, Maria McElwain, Philadelphia Inquirer. This is for Monica or McKenna. So what's it like playing alongside someone like Caitlin, who not only puts up 41 points, but then is so selfless about it?
If we could start with Monica.
Yeah, I mean, it's really special. Obviously, we get to see all the work she puts in each and every day. So when she wins these awards and is doing all this stuff, it's not really surprising to any of us. We see what goes on behind the scenes, but the way she's grown as a teammate and a leader on this team has been really special. She really fits into our family atmosphere. She always has. Coach Bluter recruits people who she knows are gonna make a team, like Caitlin said. So it's so fun to play with her, honestly. Getting to watch that every single day, getting to be a part of it, you can't make it up. It's one of the coolest things I'll ever do in my life. So I love it.
And McKenna?
I mean, there's honestly no one more deserving than Caitlin, obviously, and it's been so fun to be able to grow with her these past 3 years and 92 games now or something that we've started together, and she just elevates everyone around you. And I mean, even I find myself just standing in awe, like watching her every single day. But it's just so fun and so amazing for women's basketball in general and Iowa Hawkeyes. So,
take a question from the back and the left. Nancy?
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Caitlin, Magic Johnson has been name-checking you on Twitter throughout the tournament, and there were people who, going into this game, were comparing it to Bird and Magic in '79 because of you and Aaliyah. I'm wondering what those comparisons are like, and do you think about the fact that this could really elevate the game to a completely different level, just like their title game in '79 did?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's really good for our game. And like Coach Staley said last year during all the Player of the Year discussion is, you know, we need to have these discussions. That's what gets people engaged about women's basketball. It shouldn't just be one person end all be all. You know, people wanted this matchup probably for a couple years, you know, and obviously it's the Iowa Hawkeyes versus South Carolina. That's what it was. We won because we were a team. And, you know, South Carolina is probably one of the deepest teams in America. So, I think it's really, really good for the game. That's what's going to have it going forward. And I think, even when we played Louisville, people were talking about matchups, and that's what got people excited. And I think the viewership showed that as well. And I wouldn't be surprised when these numbers come out. I think it'll be, probably the most watched women's basketball game in the tournament of all time. So, yeah, I think it's good for the game. I think it moves it forward and gets people excited about what's on TV.
We're going to take our last question, and it'll be a virtual one. David, your line is unmuted. Please proceed.
Questions for David Melanger of Sports Talk Philadelphia. Questions for Caitlin. This game tonight marked the matchup of the last two players of the year. Do you feel like you gained new fans in this game tonight? And secondly, how does it feel to take down undefeated South Carolina to get to the national championship game?
Yeah, no, I don't feel like I gained an advantage other than, my team winning and advancing to the national championship. That's awesome. But Aaliyah's a tremendous player. They got some tough calls on her tonight. Maybe, in a different game they're not fouls. But, she was my teammate, and I know how great of a player she is, but even a better person. And that's why she's going to be the #1 draft pick, as she should. And, it's been fun to watch her success at South Carolina and what she's been able to build there. And I truly mean that. But yeah, obviously it feels really good to take down a team that has won 42 straight basketball games. That's really, really hard to do. Nobody's been able to do it all year. They've been ranked #1 in the polls, and all we did was believe and then go out and achieve it.
Thank you very much, ladies. Congratulations, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday. At this time, we'll open it up for questions for Coach. Coach to our left, the second row.
Hi, Lisa. Jerry Longman with the New York Times. Could you talk about your offensive game plan? And as Caitlin said, you obviously spotted some weaknesses as far as pick and roll and dragging their big players out away from the basket.
Yeah, we really mostly ran our offense that we run every single game. But, when we saw that we were able to score on some ball screens, we tried to emphasize that a little bit more. With McKenna being a three-point shooter, we knew that Aaliyah would have to come out and guard her out there. And McKenna ended up making one of them. But I thought all of her shots, were pretty good. And I would let McKenna shoot. She's a 40% three-point shooter over her 4-year career. So, my money's on her making those. And it was really just a lot of screening action. And floor balance. I think we do a really good job of balancing the floor. And so you really, somebody really can't help as much on you.
I'm going to take a question in our back on our left-hand side.
Nancy Emery, USA Today Sports. Lisa, when the matchups are this hyped, this anticipated, they don't often live up to it. Caitlin did, and then some. Did she even surprise you tonight?
She doesn't really surprise me anymore, but I was worried about her getting tired out there. She had to play a lot of minutes. I think she's the most phenomenal basketball player in America. I just don't think there's anybody like her. In so many regards, not only scoring, but passing the ball, handling the ball. She had the ball in her hand almost all the time tonight against some pretty good defensive players. And then it's her mentality. I think that's what's so special is she believes in herself. She believes in her teammates. She's so confident, but she's put the work in to deserve to have that confidence. Again, she said, when we were recruiting her, I want to get to a Final Four, and, it takes one person to believe it.
Coach to your right.
Natalie Heverin with The Next. Back in October, you said on Locked On Women's Basketball you wanted to develop Caitlin's game in the paint. How has that happened over the course of the season, and what clicked for her tonight in that regard?
Yeah, that didn't come out as planned. I really thought I would be able to create some more post-up options for her and just try to develop her game that way. It didn't go so well. She didn't like being down there. Maybe she's just more comfortable 30 feet away from the basket. And so, sometimes it's not good to try to stick a, square peg into a round hole, and instead of, focusing on something that she wasn't maybe always doing, to just keep doing what she was doing pretty well.
Staying to our right.
Donnie Woods with World Exposure Report. Do you think there's been a pivotal moment this season that helped you get to this championship game, maybe going back to, I believe, February 21st against Maryland?
You know, somebody else asked me, and I think that was a huge point for us. We got embarrassed there. And, you know, we came back and went to work. I mean, Brenda did a great job of having a defense we hadn't seen. Now we're ready for it. Louisville tried it. Now we're ready for it. So I thank her, you know, because if it wasn't for that, we might not have been ready for it down the line. You know, you always learn more from losses, unfortunately. I mean, you really do. Wins feel better, but you learn a lot from losses. And we learned a lot from that one. And, you know, we came together even more after that loss, I think.
Coach, we'll take a question on the left-hand side, front row.
Kyle Huseman, Hawkeye Report. Kind of a two-part question. Starting off, South Carolina this year had the tendency to have some lower scoring quarters, but their defense had been able to keep them close in those quarters. What can you say about your guys' ability to take advantage and get, you know, a 9-point lead in the first quarter? And then the second part, you know, they've been able to have quarters where they outscore a team 25-10, 25-12. What were you guys able to do to make sure that didn't happen? You kind of answered every single run that they had.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the score sheet. We led for almost 36 minutes of this game. I mean, you know, we shot the ball very well to begin the first quarter. Second quarter, we took a little bit of a nosedive, but then came back in the third and fourth quarters. I mean, 19 of our last 24 quarters, we have shot over 50% from the field. You know, I think we're the only team in America right now that shoots over 50%. And a lot of that, of course, is Caitlin. She's, you know, her adjusted field goal percentage tonight's 56%. But Monica Sanano, you know, 75% shooting. Kate Martin, Addison O'Grady came in, who hasn't played a lot of minutes for us. We needed her height tonight. She came in and did a great job for us. So, was the second part, Kyle?
Just being able to answer, you know,
Oh.
they never really went on a really big run.
Yeah, again, the second quarter, we kind of took a little bit of a dive there. I wish Gabby could have nailed that three going into half. That would have been some great momentum for us. But we still went in with a lead. We talked about, hey, you know, 20 minutes, you know, 20 more minutes of basketball to beat South Carolina, and you got a memory for a lifetime. And, you know, they did it. They really, I mean, they were feeling really good at halftime, and I thought we came out and shot the ball very well again. Couldn't keep them off the glass. I mean, that's just, Cardoza's just, she's amazing. I mean, she's just so big and keeps the ball high when she O-boards as well. She's just really good.
We're going to take a question in the back left-hand side. Lindsay, go ahead.
Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. Lisa, I'm on the fashion beat. I have to know, were you and Jan wearing matching blazers?
We were not. When I didn't see her when she left the hotel to come over here to scout, and she walked in like 10 minutes before the game, I said, oh no. You know, everybody else has like fashion people and makeup people. I got a Revlon flat iron in my hotel room, so that's about as far as I go.
Lisa, Howard Mandel at the Next. Congratulations. The Addison O'Grady approach tonight. Just if you take me through what you were expecting from her. Obviously, you know they're big, you're going to need to go big, and if you gave her any kind of specific instructions heading into what turned out to be pivotal 10 minutes for you.
Yeah, she played really well, and we needed to have her height, just like we did against Colorado, same thing. You know, Addie hasn't played as much this year as maybe we anticipated that she would, but boy, she's put in some valuable minutes in this tournament for us. We kind of told her, bring out your inner volleyball girl right now, because she was a good high school volleyball player, and we said that's what you got to do out there to try to get those deflections off those rebounds.
We're going to take a virtual question. Avery Wiggins, your line is unmuted. You are permitted to speak.
Hey, Coach. Congratulations to you. I just want to ask you, and just you're coaching against Coach Staley, a two-time national champion, and just tell me, just what is it like coaching against her, and how well, especially game playing against Coach Staley?
You know, it wasn't any different than any other game as far as I really tried not to look down there a whole lot. I don't try to look at interactions of coaches with officials and that sort of thing. So to me, you know, it was Iowa versus South Carolina. It was, you know, she's a great coach, obviously. She's got unbelievable talent, and She's our Olympic coach. I have so much respect for her and her staff, which includes a former Iowa Hawkeye on her staff in Gillette Law. Yeah, I just have so much, and I guess that's what makes this win even more special, is because it was against somebody that has had such a storied career.
We have one more virtual question. Sean, your line is open. You are permitted to speak.
Hi, Coach. Sean Schultz from WNBA Swish. You've had such a legendary career, over 30 years of coaching. How does this game rank up there with some of the other ones you've experienced?
Oh, this has got to be number one. I don't know. Hoping for another good one on Sunday. But yeah, anytime you are beating the number one team in the country who hasn't lost all year long, and they're being coached by the Olympic coach, yeah, it's a pretty good day. That's a pretty good day.
Coach, we're going to go to your right-hand side.
Hi. Maria McElwain, Philadelphia Inquirer. So when you were recruiting Caitlin, what did you see in her that you thought was kind of special? And did you ever see games like this happening when she was in high school and you were trying to get her to come to Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, she had games that were pretty amazing. You know, the three-point line is a lot closer in high school than it is now. But, you know, recruiting her, it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out she was a pretty good basketball player. I mean, you could just watch her walk onto the court almost, and at a young age know that she is something special. It wasn't any like found underneath a rock. I mean, this kid, everybody knew about her in the whole country. She represented USA basketball. So, you know, recruiting her was difficult. It took a lot of hard work, and I'll tell you, Jan Jensen, my associate head coach, worked harder than anybody to get her to come to Iowa. And so I'm really, proud of the relationship that we built with her from a young age. I think she always felt comfortable around us. Really had great conversations on the phone. And so, she's a relationship kid. And that really meant a lot to her.
We'll take our final question in the back corner, Coach.
Coach Bluter, hi. Aaron Barzilai from Her Hoop Stats. Your shot chart tonight was pretty amazing with all the threes, layups, and free throws. How much of that would you say is really driven by the talent you have, and you think that as your program continues forward and the talent changes, you'll be able to replicate that, and how much of that's sort of your philosophy you think that's going to endure going forward?
It's absolutely our philosophy. I mean, we want to shoot threes. We love shooting threes. It's fun. Everybody gets excited about it. So yeah, we shoot open threes even in transition. But yeah, otherwise we know the best next shot is right around the rim. So that is definitely philosophy.
Thank you so much for your time tonight,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Congratulations. Looking forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. As a reminder, Iowa's locker room is closed. However, all 5 starters will be available tomorrow to speak to the media. A recording of this press conference as well as the written transcript is available on ncaa.veritone.com.